Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of What the Dementia by Bambu Care. I'm your host, Brianna Wilson. I'm a certified dementia practitioner and the founder of Bambu Care, where you can find us at letsbamboo.com. So today's topic is actually different from what I originally planned for this episode to be about, but the question, is it okay for a person with dementia to have alcohol, popped up? And so I wanted to have a little informal discussion about it. Before we get started, if you didn't already know, Bambu Care is so much more than just a podcast. We are actually an entire platform, and as a part of that, we are home to the ultimate dementia care resource library called the Treehouse, which gives dementia caregivers access to not only podcasts, but things like videos, blogs, activities, handouts and printables, webinars, product recommendations, all in one place. So if you're interested in joining us inside, please visit letsbamboo.com/treehouse, okay? But generally speaking, if you visit the letsbamboo.com website, you'll see everything Bambu has to offer for dementia caregivers, all right? So let's go ahead and get into the topic. Now, as a disclaimer, please consider anything I say as just general commentary and advice, and be sure to consult a physician for a professional opinion on whether it is safe for your partner to consume alcohol given their current condition and the medications they take, okay? Remember, my advice should never be taken as medical guidance and should definitely not replace professional medical advice, okay? So, with that being said, when we are talking about drinking alcohol and dementia, the drinking of alcohol would be happening in a much broader context, right? So, some questions that we have to consider is the person on any medications that would not play well with alcohol, or would alcohol worsen their current conditions? Did your partner drink prior to their dementia? If so, how much? Or is this a new behavior? And once they start drinking, can they stop? When they do drink, how do they behave? Are they addicted to alcohol, or do they just enjoy a casual drink here and there? How easy is it for the person to access alcohol? Do they have people in their life that sneak them alcohol? Do they want to drink because they see you drinking, or the people around them drinking? Or maybe they're reminiscing with their friends and the topic of drinking comes up, or they see someone on TV drinking, okay? So these are some of the questions that we have to think about. And though we won't necessarily touch on all of this, I do want to talk through some of this, okay? So firstly, why would we need to consider medications? Well, alcohol and medications have the potential to interact, and there's three main ways they can interact. So for one, alcohol can alter the metabolism of a medication, so it can speed up or slow down how the medication is processed in and cleared from the body. Two, the reverse can be true as well. So a medication can influence the absorption and metabolism of alcohol. That means that a person can have high blood alcohol concentration levels or experience more adverse side effects due to intoxication. And then three, alcohol can alter the pharmacological effects of the medication, which can increase or decrease the effect of the medication on the body. Okay? Now, there are quite a few medications known to interact negatively with alcohol, but I'm just going to name like 5, okay? So, one is benzodiazepines, which are commonly prescribed for anxiety and sleep and include medications like Xanax, Klonopin, Valium, and Ativan. Z drugs for insomnia, so think Lunesta and Ambien. Antidepressants like Wellbutrin and Cymbalta. Opioids, which are often prescribed to manage pain and include medications like morphine, methadone, oxycodone, fentanyl, and hydrocodone. And then over-the-counter pain relievers, which some people don't think too much about, But pain medications like Advil, Aleve, Motrin, aspirin, they're already associated with an increased risk of gastrointestinal bleeding. So when these medications are combined with alcohol, even if it's just one drink, it increases that risk by about 37%. That's crazy, right? So please be sure that you're aware of the medications your partner takes, both prescription medications and those over the counter. Check for their interaction with alcohol, and definitely ask the doctor when in doubt or if you have concerns about how certain conditions your partner has may interact with alcohol. That's so important to get sorted out, okay? Now, one of the next things that you want to think about is, did your partner drink prior to their dementia? And if so, how much? Or is this a new behavior? And once they start, can they stop? When they do drink, how do they behave? So, this question is not a matter of whether or not drinking is good for the person, because many of us are guilty of doing things that are not good for the overall health of our bodies, right? And everyone has their different reasons. This is about, is drinking alcohol a known prior interest that is consistent with their previous behaviors and habits? Or could this be more so related to personality changes due to their dementia, like increased impulsivity and risk-taking behavior, onset of depression and or anxiety? Now, if it's something that they've always done in moderation and it brings them joy, they don't have any drastic change in behavior, maybe it even calms them, then it might not be such a big deal. However, if their body and brain no longer respond well to alcohol, so maybe they're experiencing significant changes in their cognition, memory, and behavior, they're becoming dizzy, nauseous, just, symptoms that are not typical and that you wouldn't expect for the amount of alcohol that the person had, might be a cause for concern. Maybe they behave aggressively when they drink alcohol. They aren't able to stop once they start, or the desire to drink is new. If that's the case, alternatives may need to be explored. For example, non alcoholic beverages like non alcoholic beer, mocktails, sparkling wine, and juices that don't have alcohol. Something where the desire is somewhat still satisfied and it doesn't feel like they're being kept away from something or deprived from something. This way, they can still, quote unquote, drink, but in a way that is much safer. And of course, if you do suspect depression and anxiety, then you'll want to bring that up to the doctor, okay? Now, if your partner is addicted and dependent on alcohol, you should never interfere and stop a person from drinking without the assistance and guidance of a professional like a physician. And you should definitely never encourage your partner to stop drinking cold turkey. That can be very, very dangerous because of potential withdrawal symptoms and because taking away a person's access to alcohol or interfering with their consumption of alcohol in any way can potentially lead them to becoming both verbally and physically aggressive towards you or anyone else who they think may have had something to do with it. You may notice increased paranoia as well. So, if you do have any concerns about your partner's drinking habits and behaviors, then you should definitely bring it up to your partner's physician for guidance, okay? Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is, how easy is it for your partner to access alcohol? And does the person have someone sneaking them alcohol? For example, I once had a patient whose daughter was very, very upset because the patient's friend kept bringing her mom boxed wine. Now, the patient knew her daughter didn't want her drinking, even though it's something she's always dabbled in, so she would hide the extra wine boxes under the bed, in a chest at the foot of her bed, in the closet behind clothes, really anywhere she could. Despite the daughter talking to the friend about it, nothing changed. Now, the issue was that because her mom had poor memory, she would end up over drinking some days because she couldn't remember if she already had a glass, and if so, how many. That can be a very dangerous situation, right? Now, generally speaking, her mom needed way more supervision than she was getting and really shouldn't have been living alone to begin with. But that's a whole other situation. But my advice is if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, please never go in making a fuss and then go taking people's stuff with them around. It's just going to worsen the behavior and they'll get more creative with their hiding spots. They may even begin to resent you and it will just taint the relationship, okay? Now, in this woman's case, she kept asking for more alcohol because she didn't remember all of the places she already hid some of the cases. So she would think that she was running out. Do you see the pattern? So if you are ever in this situation and the friend just won't stop, find a way to get your partner out of the home on a regular basis. You can invite them to lunch or a simple outing, anything really, and then have a trusted person go in and discreetly remove the hidden alcohol that can be located. Or if you have another family member that can invite them out, have them invite them out, and then you go inside the house. But this is only if you also have a key to their home, okay? Please don't go breaking and entering and all this, okay? Don't get yourself in trouble. And also, please don't make it a big deal and don't draw any more attention to it because all the attention does is feed the situation and it usually turns worse, especially depending on your partner's personality, okay? Now, if your partner lives with you and there's alcohol in the home, always make sure that it's out of sight and locked up. Your partner with dementia should never have uncontrolled access to alcohol, even if they live with other people. It's just not safe, okay? And then lastly, do they want to drink because they see you drinking or people around them drinking or they're talking about drinking with friends or maybe they even see someone drinking on TV? Well, if you or the people around them are the trigger to them wanting to drink, then please don't be a hypocrite. Either offer them a drink too, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and you don't need to make it known. You don't need to say like, oh, well, you can have a drink, but it's going to be non-alcoholic. Don't do that, okay? Please don't do that. Just offer them a drink and you know what it is, okay? Or alternatively, don't drink around them. Don't allow others to drink around them. You can drink in another room or in the privacy of your bedroom, okay? Now, if it's the TV that's the trigger, then you can discreetly encourage your partner to watch other shows and movies that are a genre where you don't really see things like drugs and alcohol, okay? So these are just some things to think about. Now, before we wrap this up, I do want to give you some insights into my personal belief. So, it is my personal belief that it is okay for a person with dementia to drink alcohol on occasion, but you have to be aware of and understand the consequences while allowing people to be people and live their life the way they want to live it, especially if it's consistent with how they've always been. Now, if you can replace bad quote unquote habits with better habits like switching out alcoholic for non alcoholic options, then okay. But be careful about just going in and taking over people's lives. I think we can all agree, dementia or no dementia, that's annoying and it upsets people, some more than others. And like I said before, people, even without a diagnosis of dementia, will make poor decisions when it comes to their health. Most of us are guilty of this, and we all have the right to do this. For example, it's 10:52 p.m. at night, and as soon as this podcast episode is over, I'm going to go eat a donut. Now, should I be eating a donut? No. Should I be eating a donut this late? No. But that's what I'm going to do, and I have the right to do that. So if I were to have dementia and I wanted a donut this late at night, and then someone comes and tells me and says, no, that's not healthy for you, that's going to be annoying. If I want a donut, I want a donut. That's something I do, right? But of course, like I said before, if you do have concerns about your partner's drinking habits and cravings and behaviors or whatever, please talk to your partner's physician about it so that they can offer the appropriate guidance given your partner's health conditions, the medications they take, the behaviors and symptoms they're displaying, and the whole nine, okay? But that's all for this little discussion. If you want to shoot me a message and share your thoughts and experiences, I'd love to hear them. You can email us at podcast@whatthedementia.com or contact us through letsbamboo.com. So hopefully you enjoyed this podcast episode and it gave you some food for thought. If you love our podcast, you'll definitely love the Treehouse, which you can join at letsbamboo.com/treehouse. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of What the Dementia by Bambu Care. We look forward to catching you on the next episode. Take care, and until next time, stay strong, care on, and remember, you are not alone. Bambu Care is always here.